Hi, I'm Susan Kelly, and I'm here to share some pro tips for teachers. Today's topic is understanding the gradual release of responsibility framework. Here's our agenda. First, I'll define what the gradual release of responsibility framework is, then, talk with you about steps that are in the framework and how long each step might last. And finally, walk you through a lesson and share pro tips for each step in the context of a lesson. Here's the definition. So, the gradual release of responsibility is an instructional framework that's used to both design lessons and teach lessons in which the responsibility for the learning shifts from the teacher to the student. Here are the steps in the gradual release framework. Essentially, it's I do, we do, you do. In the I do portion, the job of the teacher is to demonstrate a skill or a strategy. This is a direct teach that should last around 15 minutes or so, maybe less. In the we do step, the teacher really leads the work while students practice the skill or strategy with heavy scaffolding from the teacher. And you do could have two parts. In one of the you do sections, partners could practice the skill or strategy collaboratively with reduced teacher scaffolding. So the teacher is going to observe and give feedback. Or it could be individuals independently practicing the skill or strategy. And this, of course, could be used as a formative assessment. Here's a lesson that you might teach, and it's around helping kids know how to monitor their comprehension. You see an anchor chart here. It's a process chart, and that there are steps to the process for checking for understanding. So I'm going to have the anchor chart available. I'm going to use it while I demonstrate and think out loud. I'm going to first name the strategy or the skill and the learning target. Today, you'll learn how to check on yourself to make sure you're understanding a story. And then I'm going to demonstrate the strategy, thinking out loud. So I'm going to read a little bit of text, and then I want you to watch me while I check to see if I understood what I read. So in this case, you would read the text, which is step one, and then move on to step two. And I would say something like, now I'm going to ask myself, who was in this part? And I can answer that question. And then move on to step three. Now I need to check on myself and ask, what happened? And I'm going to think out loud about what happened in the text. And then step four is where and when this thing happened. And I'm going to share that out loud with students. You have an opportunity here to maybe not understand the text in this particular lesson, which would mean you'd have to go back and reread. And then finally, I'm probably going to restate the learning skill or the target. Did you see how I checked for understanding? And in this case, I may ask students to turn to a partner and list the steps for checking for understanding across their fingers. Here's the we do part. This is guided practice, and this could last 5 minutes or so, depending. And you might do the I do and the we do in one day. So here I want students to practice the skill or strategy, but with the teacher really guiding heavily. And in this case, it would be saying something like, now we're going to try this together. And you're going to really guide the students through the process. In this lesson, I would probably share the reading out loud with students and then have them with a partner or with you probably moving through the steps in the process. I'm going to provide voiceovers and reminders and certainly refer to the anchor chart. But again, I'm really heavily scaffolding the work here. Now we're at you do. This is collaborative practice, and this could be all part of the same day of the lesson. So the you do part probably lasts around 3 to 5 minutes, something like that. And in this case, I might ask partners to try on the work together. So giving students common text, or I could read a text to them, and then listen in as partnerships, use the anchor chart, the process chart, and coach into their work. I'm going to point to the anchor chart as a reminder. And for myself, I'm going to note students who have misconceptions or have confusions about how to check for understanding. You could do independent practice, perhaps on another day. And here you would invite students to do the work individually. And this gives you an opportunity to observe and take anecdotal notes or collect work that the students produce. and use it as a formative assessment. So you could form small groups of kids who are having difficulty understanding how to check on understanding. As a reminder, our lens lessons are designed around the gradual release of responsibility framework. So here in this lens lesson, you see model, and then guided practice, and then an opportunity for independent practice. Again, modeling and guided practice might go together in one day, and maybe collaborative practice independently could be on that same day. So a full lesson would probably last around somewhere around 20 minutes, something like that. All right. I hope this has been helpful for you and that you have learned more about the gradual release of responsibility framework and how to both design lessons and deliver lessons for student learning. Thank you.